Tonight on Special Assignment, in the Northern Free State, emerging black farmers and commercial white farmers find common ground. A unique mentoring program has been set up to kickstart land reform in the province.
Lesibo is a pensioner. He's waited decades to realize his dream to become a farmer. Today, he and 11 other vegetable farmers can at last call a piece of Northern Free State land their own.
If you see the effort that they put in, you know, you see these terraces with all made with spades.
Traditionally, African people were successful farmers, but South Africa's apartheid laws ensured that agricultural land was owned exclusively by whites. Since 1994, the government has been trying to change this. Tens of thousands of black farmers were given access to farming land through several land reform programs.
You
know, they've got such a, what they call a hankering to have their own property, to have their own farm. These people, it means a great lot to have their own land.
Some of these people who still want to farm are coming back to farming after almost 100 years, you know, out of farming, and more actually.
The government had not anticipated the huge difficulties emerging farmers would face after the transfer of land. And in some areas, the land reform process has been painstakingly slow.
There's no way, as government, even extension officers, that we could actually support each and every farmer, emerging farmer in every corner of the province. It's not possible.
Samuel Ntatulo was born on a farm 69 years ago. He's been a farm worker his entire life. Now he's one of a group of emerging farmers in the Bothaville district. But modern agriculture has left him bewildered. He prefers to remember his childhood when farming was simple.
You must remember that farm workers, they can work for 30 years, 20 years in a farm. But all of what they experience is to take orders. Now they know how to take orders. They know what to plant when and so on and so on. But in most cases, they don't know why. You know, and so the management issues, they don't know how to negotiate finance. They don't know what suppliers cost.
The Free State has come up with a unique plan to help emerging farmers like Samuel Ntatulo, and it's enlisted help from an unexpected quarter, white farmers.
We also have a specific program of mentorship, where we specifically go to them and say, look guys, we need your support. We've got these emerging farmers, we want you to help them.
The rationale is that people learn from farmers easier than they learn from a trainer or from theories on farming from a textbook or whatever. So they learn by doing, experiential learning, and there's somebody with them all the time who can help them to learn and try and minimize the risk of mistakes.
The Mnunube Development Group facilitates the mentoring program in the Free State. The group organizes regular get-togethers for emerging farmers and their mentors. Experts give practical advice on farming. Here, groups of emerging cattle farmers from the Northern Free State gather to learn more about disease, livestock feeding, and cattle selection. Many African people had not lost their passion for the land. They had, however, lost valuable skills, like a knowledge of science, farming techniques, and how to run a business. The mentoring program is aimed at developing these lost or forgotten skills with the support and experience of established farmers.
We actually go to the Farmers Union of the local town where the group is. We talk to them about people who they feel would be suitable. We also ask the group, obviously, who they think. We put that together, and then we prioritize with the group, and then we approach mentors who then say yes or no, and then we actually facilitate an understanding in the mentor of what it's all about.
The Northern Free State is politically conservative, and Bothaville is no exception. Despite this, Willem Theron agreed to become a mentor.
Dit is nie noodwendig dat 'n mens links van jou politieke spektrum moet wees om met hulle oor die weg te kom. As ek byvoorbeeld kyk watter boere gee baie ondersteuning en goeders aan hierdie ding, dis nie noodwendig regse boere nie, maar dit is oor 'n algemene die hele spektrum van die politiek. Die positiewe punt wat ons daar het besef is dat politiek, daarvan politiek is verby. Dis nou oorlewing wat ons moet gaan. En uit daai oogpunt uit sien die meeste boere dit.
En daar was geen negativiteit onder ons boere nie. In die sin dat die mense die grond wettiglik bekom, en die ander kant van die saak is, ons gun hulle die voorreg om te kan boer.
Samuel Ntatulo is more than twice as old as Willem Theron. He's now learning new farming techniques from the younger man. Ntatulo is a member of the Kopano Livestock Association. 2 years ago, the group of about 40 started cattle farming. They benefit from the so-called commonage project. The land belongs to the local municipality. The farmers pay for services and a small amount for each head of cattle. In nearby Paris, the local Farmers Association gets a report back on the emerging farmers in the district. Jacques van der Westhuizen is mentor to 3 groups.
Ons wil graag hê dat hierdie projekte moet van die grond af kom.
En ek dink ons moet vir mekaar selfs moet betrokke raak. Ek weet nie of enige van julle nog iets oor die opkomende boere wil sê.
Aanvanklik hierdie mense gedink, o, jemmel, nog een van daai projekte. Nou ja, dit is nog een van daai projekte, maar ons werk daaraan. En met ter tyd hierdie mense begin 'n belangstelling toon en hulle wil weet wat gaan aan, is daar vordering en hulle is besig om betrokke te raak.
The Sizabantu group wants to farm chickens and vegetables. They initially aimed to buy a farm, but later opted to use the municipal land next to the township. They signed a contract with the municipality a year ago, but as yet, their projects haven't got off the ground. Their only income is from a neighboring farmer who leases sorghum land from them. The aim is for the farmers to eventually take over the land.
To those people who are helping us. So we are like brothers and sisters, and we are continuing to do our South African to prosper,
In Kroonstad, the mentoring projects didn't get the same support. Sponny Extian is mentor to 4 groups. Three years ago, these vegetable farmers bought their piece of land with government help.
We don't get the assistance from the white farmers, you know. They believe that these people will go under. That is the main attitude they've got. And I've now had discussions with some of them, and they tell me, how's it going with them? They won't succeed. I said, you can believe me, they will succeed. Because our mentors will see that they can make the grade.
If out of 10 people and 4 are willing to help, I think that is success. I can forget about the 6 because the 6 will join us later.
The mentoring program is no quick fix for all the problems experienced by emerging farmers. These kraals belong to the Zenzeleni group of farmers outside Paris. The group owes the municipality more than 18,000 rand for water and a fee for each animal on the farm. The municipality has cut off the water supply, and now the calves are left all day without shade or water. If the group doesn't pay the debt, they may lose not only their calves, but also the farm.
Zenzeleni het 'n baie groot probleem. Volgens my is daar effens 2 spalt in die groep, alhoewel hulle dit nie erken nie. Daar is mense wat nie wil hulle bydra maak maandeliks vir die vee wat op die gronde loop nie, en op die einde van die dag skep dit 'n probleem dat hulle nie hulle verpligtinge kan nakom nie.
The commonage projects are supposed to alleviate poverty, especially among poor farmers, but the Zenzeleni group seems to have no control over its many members.
Ek is die man van koop en verkoop. Nou hierdie batwa wat so ba jaglusa holo ba rena le bona ka kampong ka mo gore ba sheba bophelo ba baka go feta ba bona go bana batho ba bang ba bambana ba releki ba bang ke ba futsana batho bana ba nang le bohona.
The group has had a series of meetings with the project facilitators to sort out their problems, but little progress has been made. The same issues crop up time and time again. Some members of the group insist that all members should pay the same amount, regardless of how many cattle they have.
Are you satisfied that it's fair? Now fair? One cow, apatali 250 yen, and mutanaling 10 cows, apatali 250 yen. Is that fair?
The initial political imperative and moral imperative might have led to possibly trying to get a lot of people on the ground onto land as soon as they could. This had its problems because the bigger the group, obviously, the more difficult it is to find harmony so that you can start producing.
I guess the major problem has been where you actually mix the groups. For example, you would take maybe a certain number of farm workers and a certain number of people from the township who have other interests, who may be having other businesses, and who are used to a different culture. And then when they come, when they bring the two cultures, I guess that's where the biggest problem is.
It's at the pension payout point that emerging farmers frequently meet. Farming is physically demanding, but many of them have little strength left. They're simply too old. Alfred Nzeke is chairman of the Twaranang Cattle Farmers Association outside Paris. He can only hope that he'll pave the way for the next generation.
Batho ba batjha ha ba thahaselle ho ka sebetsana le mobu. Ba batla moo ba sebetsang ba fumane tjhelete ka nako eo. Jwale rona ka baka la ho tseba molemo wa mobu ne re lakaditse eka haeba bone o ka lokela re be le hona ho ka sebetsa. Batho ba batjha ha ba ile le ba teng ba ntse ba kena ba beele ba tswe hape.
The biggest problem for the emerging farmers has been to get money. To buy land, every emerging farmer qualifies for a 16,000 Rand government grant. Farmers renting land in commonage projects get money from a community project fund run by the European Union. These grants are 10,000 Rand per household. But the administrative process is often painfully slow. Even if farmers do get loans, they struggle to pay off the debt if they don't show profits. And without money, no farmer can survive one, let alone two serious setbacks.
That is our big problem, that it takes ages to get money from the state.
Having access to land doesn't mean one can start farming. The Sizabantu group hasn't even started its project. They have no money to buy seed or fertilizer or chickens. They can't fence the farm. At this stage, they can only dream about expensive farming implements to prepare the soil for planting vegetables.
It needs a lot of money, and it is only the government that promises us to found us somewhere to get us started, you know. And then up to this stage, they have never done anything in the promises of money as we are concerned, you know.
Bana ba itse ka di 15th of March ba tla re fa tjhelete gore bana ba mmuso ba tla re fa tjhelete. Tjhelete e teng mmuso wa itlisa tjhelete maar op fitela u al re so ifumana.
Ons sal moet fondse in die hande kry. In die meeste gevalle gaan dit oor die omheining. Dan het ons probleme met elektrisiteit en met water. Dit sal moet aangeskakel word.
Despite the lack of money, there have also been success stories. In 1998, the women of the Khotalong Poultry project outside Bothaville each pitched in a few rand to get the project started. Today, they slaughter and sell 400 chickens at a time.
Then kamora mono he rana ga rekisa dikgogo jwalo rana ga etsa hanyane re nkile dikgwedi tse ka bang 7 re sa kgole.
Their progress has been rewarded and modern chicken houses were built for them. But there seems to be a lack of proper financial planning. The European Union spent 400,000 Rand on the building of the houses, and yet they are of no use to the farmers. They don't have the 5,000 Rand needed to have the electricity supply switched on.
Het klomp grond is gekoop. Het klomp opkomende boere is daar neergesit en gesê, gaan aan. En hulle is gelos. Daar is nie hulp aan hulle verleen nie, daar is nie leiding gegee nie, niks nie. Nou kan jy nou vir jouself dink, jy weet nou, is net so goed om vir my nou hierdie klomp toerusting te gee en sê, luister, doen my werk, daar is dit. Dit sal 'n bogger op wees vinnig. En nou presies dis wat daar ook gebeur het, goeders. Nou, dit is nie jammer, hier word 'n klomp geld ingevoer, geld wat van die buiteland af inkom, geld wat van die regering afkom vir subsidies van verskeie instansies af en so. Tog sien maar wel, leiding moet daar wees en wie het nou beter leiding as plaaslike boere wat in die trade staan as ek hom so wil staan.
Hier in Psalm 126 was die volk op hulle knieë.
It's in sharing many of these problems that the commercial farmers have found common ground with the emerging farmers. The white and black farmers still don't pray together in Thanksgiving for recent rains, yet they've realized that they are all subject to the same element.
God het die mense gehelp in die geskiedenis. Hierdie droogte kan weer toeslaan. Ons het nog baie probleme in die landbou, u weet dit en ek weet dit. As ons kyk na die volatiliteit in die mielieprys op die oomblik in die mark, dan sê dit vir ou, hulle sê die prys is nou klimaatgedrewe, nee. As dit reën dan val die prys, as dit droog is dan styg die prys.
Baie dankie, Here. Vir ons lot wat U verander het tot 'n heerlike werklikheid van groen lande en groen weidings. Ons loof en prys U daarvoor. Amen.
Ou moet kyk net na die uitbreiding van die landbou, dat dit in die op die langtermyn duur. Dit help nie 3-4 verskillende soorte groepe nie. Jy moet een spreekbuisvorm waar jy kan sê, maar luister, ons wil dit hê vir die landbou, vir die voortbestaan van die landbou.
They think if they get more African farmers, their voice as farmers would be stronger than it is now at the moment, which I think is a noble idea.
Dat is ook so gisterand, dis vanmôre, hier sal hulle verduidelik. 2 o'clock, dis vanmôre, ons het hier rondgery, agter skape wat gesteel is.
Wanneer?
Gisterand.
The Bothaville farming community has been hard hit by stock theft and a series of farm attacks. The commercial farmers believe that the presence of emerging farmers will improve their own safety.
Hulle het by die pad uitgekom. Ja, deur die pad saamgeloop. Hulle het laasweek toe dit gereën het. Hulle is ook maar oë en ore in die lokasie. Hulle kan vir ons ook daar help. Met bewegings oor die grond, daai klas dinge, omdat hulle teen die grond lê en oor die grond moet beweeg om by ons boere uit te kom. En daarbey wil ek nie hulle self uitsluit nie. Hulle kan self ook maklik 'n teken raak.
When the land reform program started, many farmers feared that their farms would be forcibly expropriated. And recent events in Zimbabwe have emphasized the need for the effective redistribution of land.
I discussed it with some white farmers the other day. I said to them, listen, the sooner we get more black farmers to buy farms, the better we will off. Look at what's happening in Zimbabwe. If we don't let them get, the black farmer must get their farms. Otherwise, we will go for the same thing that's happening in Zimbabwe. That's my opinion. Because I can see these people they're not just keen. They want farms. That's what they want. And you can't keep them away from it.
Despite the cooperation between the commercial and emerging farmers, there are still huge differences. The mentoring project is in its infancy, and it's far too soon to talk about racial harmony. But through the project, bridges are slowly being built. Bridges that would have been inconceivable only a couple of years ago.
Ek leer tog nog redelik ook by hulle. Al is dit net om 'n bietjie agtergrondkennis van hulle self te kry. Daar's 'n kulturele verskil tussen ons, 'n agtergrondverskil tussen ons. En dat 'n ou dit ook 'n bietjie kan insien.
Ase mongarona ha re sebeletse yena. Yena o ntshitse sehlabelo wa re thusa hore re tswele pele.
We sit down and share the ideas. Nobody's boss for somebody, you know. We are just equal and sharing it to help our nation to go forward.
I am part of them, and I try to work with them like part of them. And that's why I tell myself that's the only way you will succeed.
The cooperation between the emerging farmers and the established farmers is improving by the day.
Petrus Lisibo and the other vegetable farmers of Kroonstad have a long way to go before they can turn their project into a successful commercial venture. But they've already built a reputation in the area for supplying only the best, and their vegetables are much sought after.
I wouldn't say that they're not as good as the white farmer, but I feel give them the opportunity, give them the finances, then they will show you what they will do.
In my own estimation, 10 years, we must be having a very serious class of emerging strong black farmers.
Nkare tjena ka mosebetsi wa polasi ke bofumana hore ile le shumela dilemo le letelele lemong tse 4 kapo tse 5 ka pele ho tsena ka ntlo tsena se re tshwereng tse 5 re tla be re le batho re tla be re ikutlwa hore re batho re kgone ho fa batho ba se hloka mesebetsi ba tshware mane re ba fe penyana.
The mentoring program is no guarantee that these vegetable farmers will get rich. It does, however, ensure that land reform projects have a better chance of success.
Join us again next week for another special assignment. And if you have any comments or suggestions, you can phone or fax us, or email us on truth@sabc.co.za.